Good afternoon. Ralph E. Hartman here on the Beneva roadside south of Timberwood. Write-in candidate for Congress, U.S. Representative, District 17. Hope everyone's having a good day. As I've said oftentimes before through these video messages that I'm keeping in a file on YouTube, there are many concerns through a lot of years, many subjects that were basically forced on me by various corruption. And it's kind of difficult to elaborate unless you look at the index. I think the index of just this video file that started in 2022 for the previous campaign numbers more than 450 messages. And there's a lot of excerpts from previous files that went to persons in Congress, news all around the nation, Sheriff's Department, and others. And now, now mentioning the Sheriff's Department, I've encountered another item from January of 2013 that was really a worrisome concern. You can guess that when there's so many serious subjects that there's a lot of negative feedback, and there have been necessities through years of calling 911, and I guess actually there's been hundreds on behalf of others. Sometimes there's persons at time incidents waiting for me to pass by on buses, etc. And when I call at night, there have been a number of occasions. Sometimes I had to call while there's somebody causing trouble in a dark car outside. I'm having a call while they're looking at me and seeing me call and everything. And I was always thankful for the prompt responses of deputies. And I don't like to be critical, really. It's just that there are a few occasions where incidents of corruption occur. And one of the incidents was back in January of 2013. I had gotten off to a bus to the intersection of Constitution over on Swift Road when the former stepfather, William Ruff, got into traffic broadcasting to be harassing again. I don't know why he did it, but for whatever reason he decided to be an emphasis of saying that he had in some way been involved about what happened to the World Trade Center back in September of 2001. Really bad news. When the overt news was obviously the terrible diversion of a couple of airliners, it was really, somebody just interrupted me from traffic to emphasize the word diversions. They're really, really partly crazy. I didn't even know anything about the attack until near the end of the particular day back then. Well, anyway, they're always variously interrupting. Like I say, they invaded me in a couple of medical procedures very early in my life. Well, anyway, unfortunately, I didn't think to note the exact words. So basically, this would mount to hearsay. Of course, that the former stepfather and others are also called into question about their comments, what they can remember. And on the particular day after getting off the Constitution, the former stepfather said whatever he said and was accompanied by another man who alleged being a former sheriff by the name of Monge. For whatever reason, whether he was investigating, wanting to make Bill Love just think that he was agreeing about him or not, I don't know. But he varied his name to Mompge, adding a P to Monge to indicate my mother, Mom. And unfortunately, it had been alleged that my mother chose to be with men of criminal organization, including the former stepfather and my father. And for whatever reason, the man emphasized, altered his name in a mocking kind of way to indicate being aligned with my mother. Back then, 2013, it was a bit too early for me to completely understand what had been implied. But I sent a brief report back then, and I'm getting it back onto my phone screen now to see if I can mention that I had sent this to make sure that others were aware that the former stepfather and alleging being the former sheriff had in some way allegedly been associated with what had happened. And the former stepfather had probably secretly pivoted on me visiting the World Trade Center on one occasion back in early 1982. Probably in March of 1982, I drove to New York City to visit a former stepsister who was at the time worked in the headquarters of the J.C. Penney Company in downtown Manhattan. And one of the places we visited on one night was the World Trade Center. We went up to the Windows on the World restaurant and lounge. It was an interesting place, interesting view. Unfortunately, there was a dinner jacket requirement, and I didn't have one with me, so we just had to kind of stand around for a little while, had a drink, and then back down the elevator. But I was only respectful about being there. It was an interesting place. What I do remember is the elevator was kind of a bumpy ride compared to the Empire State Building. The Empire State Building elevator is very smooth, but the World Trade Center elevator kind of bounced around in the shaft during the ride. Well, anyway, I'm just going ahead and I had first been reminded of this draft yesterday or the day before, and today during a bus ride, a woman along the way commented concertedly that she had been made aware, and that I really should go ahead and mention it. And so this is just to remind that I wouldn't have ever conspiring to destroy the World Trade Center or anything like that. All I ever thought was if there was any conspiracy built into a building, that it might have to be carefully demolished after evacuating people. What happened back then on September 11th was a terrible tragedy, and hopefully that any participants, maybe even really actually the former stepfather who might have been involved with any planning or whatever, that they will eventually be prosecuted, and hopefully there could never be a similar attack again. Hope everyone's having a good day, and as always, thanks for your consideration.